Any questions, any doubts? No questions? Is it clear? Everyone? So if it is clear, then I'll ask a question. Okay, fine. So set direct message to me in the chat, the Zoom chat. Okay. So, okay. Samir is a login. Samir is having, Samir is a member of DB creator role. Samir is a member of DB creator role, but create any database permission is denied for Samir. Listen carefully. Samir is a member of DB creator role, but create any database permission is denied for Samir. Now tell me, Samir is able to create new database or not? Yes or no? Yes means he can create new database, no means he cannot create new database. I hope everyone got the question. Samir is a member of DB creator role, but create any database permission is denied for Samir. Now Samir can create the database or not? I'm waiting for the answers, guys. Till now I got 3 responses.
Can you please repeat the question?
Okay. Samir is a member of DB creator role. Samir is a member of DB creator role, but create any database permission is denied for Samir. Create any database. You can see here that permission. Okay, under C, create any database, right? So this permission is denied for Samir. Create any database is denied for Samir, but he is a member of DB creator role. Now Samir can create the new database or not? Got the question, guys, everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So Samir can create the new database or not? We got only 8 responses. Still 3 more people pending. 2 more people. 2 more people are pending. I need responses from everyone. Yes or no? No issues. You can go for Inky Pinky Ponky also. No issues. 11 responses. Okay. Let's check now. Right. So Vasavi said no. Basha no, he cannot. Sunil no. Goda no. And Sunil again no. Giri no. Dena is the second highest permission. So Santosh no. Anil yes. Priyanka yes. Ankoji yes. Yes, because he's created role. Okay. Okay. So out of just a minute. Okay. Who is this? Santosh. Santosh means Priyanka, na? No, not Priyanka.
Pratyusha, sir.
Pratyusha. Okay.
Pratyusha.
That's fine. Okay, done. Right. Okay. Yes, the answer is okay. No, he cannot create the database, as Dena is the second highest permission. He has created, as per the create, like as he's a member of DB creator role, he can create the database, but Dena is applying on him. So Deny will deny him in creating it. Why? Because Deny is the highest privilege. Deny versus DB creator role. Who will win, guys? Deny versus DB creator role. Who will win? Deny versus DB creator. Who will win?
Deny.
Obviously,
Deny.
Deny only will win. Why? Because Deny is the second highest permission after sysadmin. Okay. So deny means, as per the deny permission, he cannot create the database, right? So the answer is no, Samir cannot create new database. Until I remove this deny permission on Samir, he cannot create. Once I remove deny permissions, deny won't be applied. So as he is a member of DB creator, he can create the new database and all. Right. So deny versus sysadmin, who will win? Deny versus sysadmin, who will win?
Sysadmin.
So if the same Samir is a member of sysadmin, can he able to create the database? If deny is
Yes,
applied
he can
on create
create.
any database? Right,
Yes, he
okay.
can.
As deny versus sysadmin, sysadmin will win. No one can deny the sysadmin, so is able to create the database, guys. Okay, that is all about your deny permission and all. It's very important. You have to remember this deny permission. Now I am just creating a server role with my own permissions. Okay, so you can see lot of permissions are there. These are all permissions. What permissions I want, whether I want to grant bulk operations. Okay, bulk operations I want to grant, or alter any credentials, alter any database I want to give deny. Okay, so different permissions, whether I want to give, okay, grant or with grant or deny, whatever I want. Okay, I'm just creating a server role with my own permissions and all. Okay, connect to any database like that. I'm just see, you might ask, sir, in the organization you are selecting some random permissions in the organization, who will tell us which permission is grant, which permission is deny? As developers will have this requirement, they will let us know what permissions they need. So based on that permissions, they will let us know, grant, select, okay, insert, deny. So like that, they will tell us whether we have to choose what kind of permissions, and whether we have to choose grant, with grant or deny. They will let us know. Based on their inputs, we can simply select grant or deny, whatever it might be. Okay, shutdown, here somewhere shutdown permission will be there. Yes, shutdown. A member of this role cannot shut down the SQL server. I strongly believe. Now in this case, if he is a member of server admin, okay, if Samir is a member of server admin and Samir is a member of this batch 44 custom server role, so now Samir can shut down the SQL server or not?
No.
No. Why? Because batch 44 custom server role, I just selected shutdown deny permission. So server admin means you can shut down the SQL server. But at the same time you are a member of server admin. At the same time you are a member of batch 44 custom SRV role. Okay. So in both the cases, for batch 44 custom SRV role, you have deny permission. As deny is the highest permission, deny only will win. So Samir cannot shut down my SQL server. Like this, you can collect whatever permissions you want. You can simply click that permission. You can simply click OK. So the server role will be created. So if someone, I want to give the access to some other people, okay, I can simply click on this Vaibhav. If you want to see the example, I'll show you. Okay, so go to server roles. See here, whatever role you created, you can see on the top. Now I'll add him into the server admin. Okay, now I'll add him into the server admin. In this role, he is having shutdown deny permission. In this role, he is having shutdown permission. So which one will work, we'll see now. Okay, so let's connect to the Vaibhav. Let me open a new query window. What is the query to shut down the SQL server? Shut down, right? Shut down. Right, if you execute, see here, user doesn't have permission to perform this action. Right, is it clear, guys? Everyone, about custom server roles, deny and all. Right, fine, okay. Silence means I treat it as clear. I'll treat it as a clear. Right, after server roles, we have one more major topic called database roles, guys. Database roles are very important. Okay, so server roles always deals with the server, means whatever permissions you are applying, okay, or whatever role you are a member, that role will be applied on the whole server. So that's why it is called server role. Okay, the permissions of server roles will be applied on the server. So we have a separate roles called database roles. These database roles will be applied on that particular database, guys. Okay, so if you go to any database, If you expand any database, you can see one more security. This is database level security and this is server level security. Don't confuse. This is database level security. If you expand database, you can see database level security, and if you expand the server, you can see server level security. If you expand this database level security, there you can see roles. If you expand these roles, you can see database roles. These are the database roles, by default database roles. We don't create it. You will get these roles when you install the SQL server, or sorry, when you create any new database. When you create any new database, automatically these fixed database roles you will get it, guys. So as we have a query to find out the permissions of any server role, in the same way we have a query to find out the permissions of a database role also. sp_db fixed role permission, right? The color will be changed, space, and what role you want to see, db access admin. Okay, simply drag and drop. You can see what db access admin will have, what kind of permissions he will have. No need to worry about the database roles, guys. It's very simple. We don't discuss much on this. It's good that if you have knowledge on all the database roles and permissions and all. If you don't have knowledge, that's okay. At least two database roles are very important. That is data reader and data writer. Mostly will give only these roles, and DB owner also. These three roles. DB owner, compare and learn. DB owner is kind of sysadmin. If I added you into the sysadmin role, you can do whatever you want in the whole server, right? Agree? The same way, if I added you into the DB owner role, you can do whatever you want in the database level. Database level, you are the king. Database level, if you are a DB owner, means you are the king. Whatever you want, you can do that in the database level. Okay. So what access admin will have, what kind of permissions he will have? A member of access admin can drop users, he can grant DB access, database access, and he can revoke. Guys, granting and revoking. Granting means giving the permissions, revoking means taking back the permissions. Okay, granting, giving the permissions, revoking means you are revoking the permissions, means you are taking back the permissions. Okay, removing the permissions, you can say removing the permissions, you can call it as a revoking.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
How is revoke different from deny?
Very completely different. Completely different it is. See, for example, if I am giving access to any person by above, okay, on the server role, imagine I am granting the DB creator role. You can treat like that. Revoking means removing the permissions. But deny is completely different, right? You cannot compare giving and removing the permissions. Deny means what? You are restricting him to access an object. Okay, you are restricting him to access an object. Deny, even though the person is having access, if deny is applied, he cannot access that object. Whereas revoke, you are simply removing the permissions. In that case, he cannot access. Okay, so deny, you strongly believes that this guy cannot access, even though you have permissions, you cannot access. If I strongly believes, then I'll give deny. Okay, that's what I said during deny discussion. That's what I said. If I don't give permissions, he cannot execute. Why again I have to separately give him deny permission? What is the need? I strongly believes if someone by mistake gives the permissions, again he can misuse the permissions. That's why I strongly believe that he cannot misuse, means I'll use deny permissions. If you revoke it, someone might give the permissions, right? Same permission someone might give, right? Again he might use it properly or he might misuse it properly if he don't know what is the use of that role or permission. Is it clear? Deny and revoke.
You mean if you revoke, later it can be given back, but for deny, it's completely a no.
Deny means if you give deny, he cannot, even though if someone give the permissions, he cannot utilize it.
Okay.
You are still not clear, I guess. See, deny means I'm strongly restricting a user to not to misuse the permissions, means if I gave deny permission, if someone by mistake gave permissions to him, as deny is there, he cannot access the object. Is it clear or not?
Yes.
It is clear, right? Revoke. You can revoke the permissions. That's okay, no problem. You just revoked the permissions. Now, what is the guarantee that someone might give the same permissions to him, right? If someone gave the same permissions to him, again he can misuse, right?
Yes.
In that case,
Okay.
deny is completely different than your revoking. Is it clear why it is completely different than revoke? Deny.
In revoke, the access can be given back, you are saying, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
In the
Understood.
deny, if anyone gave the access again, okay, but deny is there, it won't. It's deny is a kind of locking mechanism. Okay,
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah.
even though you have access, as deny lock is applied, you cannot access that object.
Okay. Understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine, right. Okay, so this is all about, right. This is about access admin. Access admin can, a member of access admin can drop the users, can grant the database access only to the particular database, can revoke the database access. You can remove the permissions and all. Right. So, like this, if you want me to add to access, sir, you just shown me how to add any login into the server role. If you ask me how to add any login to the database role, simple. That is also very simple. Double click on the same login. If I want to make a Vaibhav as access admin, this time usually you will go to server roles, right? This time I will go to user mapping. Select on which database you want access. Already Azure database is selected for Vaibhav. You can simply choose access admin and you can click OK. Automatically Vaibhav now is a member of access admin database role. Means Vaibhav can drop other users from the database. He can grant access to that particular Azure database only. He cannot grant access to other database. And he can remove the access from the database. That's how it will go. After access admin, we have other role where is the security is. Backup operator. So the name itself is saying what is the meaning of backup operator, guys? What he can do? Backup
Can
operator.
take backup.
Right, that's
Data
it.
back.
Right. Database of which backup? Which database backup he can take?
Selected back. Selected
In,
data.
in which database he has access, only that database backup he can take. He cannot take other databases backups and all. Okay. Backup database. There is a different types of backups, that is backup log. Okay, database backup. I told you, right, we have two files, data file and log file. If you want to take the log file backup, you have to use backup log command. So the member of backup operator can take the whole database backup, or can take the only log file backup also. Checkpoint means it's a kind of control S. So whatever you are writing on a document, you will always type select control S, right? Control S will do save, permanently it will save. If you don't hit a control S, some suddenly, like, the power gone, or suddenly the system rebooted, suddenly something happened, it was like it was hanged, it is not responsive. In that case, you are going to restart the laptop and also you lose your data. So checkpoint is a kind of a save point. It will always save the data from log file to data file. Permanently it will see log file is a temporary storage area. Why? Because it cannot write the whole data. Imagine you are inserting 10 lakh transactions into the database. In a single fraction of seconds, it cannot write all the 10 lakh transactions to the database. It might take 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or 1 hour, depends upon the transaction count. Until then, where are these transactions will be there? In your log file, these transactions will be there. Until the transactions are committed. Committed means what? Permanently saved. Permanently saved means what? The transaction will goes to data file from log file. Until then, it will be there in the log file. Once the transaction is committed, means saved permanently, the transactions will go to the data file. Data file is a permanent storage, your storage, your D drive, E drive and all. So even though during this process, if power gone, then again your data will be completely saved to the disk. Okay, see, for example, you are writing some data in the notepad. At the same time, you have some photos in your disk. In the E drive, you have some photos. You are writing some data to the notepad and suddenly the power was gone. So our laptop is restarted. Once laptop is restarted, the photos that are stored in your disk will be permanently stored. Nothing happened to those photos, but the data currently which you are writing won't be there. Why? Because you haven't saved. If you save the same file to the disk, any disk, if you save it permanently, you can again get the data. But if you don't save it, you will lose the data. The same way, always data transaction, first transaction goes to the log file. Once the transaction is committed, the data will goes from log file to data file permanently. Once the data okay saved in the data file means it's a hard disk. Okay, that means your data will be safe. Even though power gone, nothing will happen. So checkpoint is a kind of a process which will save all the changes for a particular time period. For every 1 minute, the checkpoint query will run on every database. It will keep on saving all the changes from log file to data file, whatever changes are there. It will keep writing all the changes to the data file. Every 1 minute, this is the continuous process. No need to run this checkpoint manually. Automatically, there are two types of checkpoints: manual checkpoint, automatic checkpoint. Manual checkpoint you can run whenever you want. Simply there is a query called checkpoint. Like shutdown, you have to run this checkpoint. That's it. If you run it, it will save the data permanently. But sir, do I need to run on every database every 1 minute? No. Automatic checkpoint will be there. This query will run automatically on every database for every 60 seconds. Means for every 60 seconds, SQL server will keep copying the data from log file to data file. So if you are a member of backup operator, you can run checkpoint query also. That is
I
all
have one
about it.
doubt.
Yes, please.
Sir, I have given 1000 inserts, but 500 inserts are successfully done. 500 inserts, when it is going to successfully committed, something is happened. Whether the full will go or half will say.
You only tell me, full or off. If you are sending 500,000 rupees to me, what is the condition? What is the success condition? What is the failure condition? Tell me. You are sending 1,000 rupees to me. What if the transaction is success? What if the transaction is failed?
Either 1000 rupees will go, otherwise not.
It won't go, right? It's not like 500 rupees in my account, 500 rupees in your account, right? Either the transaction will be fully successful or it will be failed. There is no partial success, right? The same way, if all 1,000 transactions are committed, then all the 1,000 transactions will be copied to the data file. During this copy process, if something went wrong, the transactions will be temporarily stored in the log file. Always remember one thing: log file is a temporary storage area, data file is a permanent storage area. So until the process is completed, the transactions will be stored in the log file. Once the process is completed, means fully commit means permanently saving. Once the transaction is fully committed, then all the 1,000 records will goes to the data file. During this process, if something happened, the transactions will be temporarily stored in the log file. When you restart, our server is restarted, our Windows server is restarted, there is a mechanism called rollback. It will check how many transactions are successful. It will roll back all the transactions. Again, it will redo and undo. Undo means cancel the transaction. Redo means again it is going to rerunning the transactions. Okay, so it depends upon this redo, undo, roll back, roll forward. Okay, policies. It will either write all the transactions or it will cancel the partially successful transactions. This is how
That means
the durability of the database. Okay, will what we can say exist.
That means we cannot start from 500 again.
No, that will be taken care by the SQL server automatically. Right? So that is about your checkpoint. Fine. And let's discuss in this database roles. We'll use mostly data reader, data writer, and DB creator. I mean, sorry, DB owner. So data reader. Tell me what permissions will be there for data reader. Guess it. Data
Correct
reader will have what kind of permissions? Okay. So if I execute this query, you can see select permissions. Right. Select permission on any object. Let's go with the demo. You will get better clarity. What I'll do, I'll go with the same Vibo login only. Vibo, and I'll remove all the permissions from Vibo, all the server roles and all I'll remove. Remove. Okay. Let me click OK. Now Vibo doesn't have any permissions. Now double click on Vibo doesn't have any permissions, right? Chalo. What we can do now, in the Azure database we have tables, right? Employee tables, something like that we have, right? No tables. Okay. Batch whatever we have tables or Mintra. No tables. I guess in Mintra we have tables. Right. Employee table is there, right? So generally, Vibo as of now we don't have access on Mintra. Okay. So what we can do, let's give the access to Vibo on Mintra database. User mapping Mintra. Where is that? Yes, Mintra. Automatically a Vibo user will be created in the Mintra database. Go down. I don't give, as of now, I don't give any of these permissions. Let's click OK. Right. Now Vibo can access the database. That doesn't mean he can access the tables inside the database. If we have, let's check. Okay. This is Vibo session, right? Let's go and execute select query. Okay. Select star from employee, right? Employee. If I execute now, what I'll get? What kind of error I'll get? What is the solution for this query, for this error? What error
Okay.
you have to get?
The data.
Sorry?
It doesn't have the access to data in Mintra.
Is it the same meaning? If he doesn't have access till now, we have just seen that error, user doesn't have permission. But instead of that, why I am getting this error? In what case we get this error?
We have to change the database.
Right. Okay.
DB.
So here I am searching the data in the master database. So employee table, I told you already, this is the first class I just discussed. Whenever you are running a query, make sure on which database you are running. So I guess most of you forgot that basic principle. So my employee table is there in the master, Mintra database, Mintra dot. I can use dot, right? So now if I execute this query, what error I am getting? Right? This is the error I supposed to get, but instead of that I'm getting invalid object name. Invalid object name you will get in two scenarios. One is you are searching in the wrong database. Second one is, can anyone tell me? Can anyone
Not
guess?
exist. Not
Of course,
exist.
not exist. Not exist. That's what you are searching in the separate. Sorry?
Wrong database name. Wrong name.
Run. A spelling mistake. Very good. In the object
Spelling
name,
mistake.
instead of employee, you are giving some wrong table name. Okay. So if the table name and all is wrong, in such case also you will get invalid object name. Right. So now Vibo doesn't have access. Okay. Select permission. What I can do? Let's go to Vibo. Now I'll give access to Vibo. How? Go to user mapping. Select Mintra. Okay. Now I am going to give select permission, right? Data reader means what permission? Select permission on any object. Give select permission, click OK. Now execute the same query again. Now you are getting the data, right? Okay, this is how data reader will work. Data reader will work like this. Where is that query? Right. Okay. Select permission on any object. Right now he is able to close this. We don't want this. Right now he is able to. This is shut down. This also we don't want. Right. Okay. So now he is able to read the data, guys. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear? Adding a person, adding a user into the database role. Is it clear? How to add a user into the database role? I'll wait, guys. Until you respond, I'll wait.
How much time log file will save the
No, no, that is
uncommented?
leave aside, leave aside. I'm asking one question. Is it clear? Adding a user into the particular database role. Is it clear? Everyone, is it clear or not? Do you want me to show again?
Sir.
Everyone. This is very important, guys. This activity will do regularly in the organization. Okay, if it is clear, that's fine. If it is not clear, tell me again. I'll show you how to give access.
One second.
Okay, I'll show you. Okay, so simply double click on the login, go to user mapping, go to the database, which role you want to give, data reader or writer, whatever role. But before that, you have to select the database, on which database you want to give access. Okay, so then which database you want to see here. If you choose batch 44, usually you don't see any permissions, and you cannot even select the permission also. What I have to do, guys? It was disabled. All the roles are disabled. What I have to do to enable? You can see all the roles are disabled. I cannot. I am just clicking on it. I am unable to select any of the role. What I have to do?
Sir, there DBO not it.
Okay. If you give DBO, automatically it will come. Okay, let me give. I am unable to click DBO also here.
You have to select the database.
Select the
They are
database,
not
then
selected.
only it will be highlighted. Okay. Select the database, then only these roles will be highlighted. Until then, it won't highlight. Okay, right. So on which database you want to give access, select that particular database, and what role you want to give, what role, in which role you want to add Vaibhav user. Okay, then you can select that particular database role, you can click OK. In that way you can give the access. Is it clear now, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now tell me, someone is asking the question regarding log file.
How much time log file will save the data? Is any particular time?
Until the transaction is completed, it will save. Until the transaction is completed, it will save. There is no time bound and all, only 1 day, 2 day, nothing like that. Until the transaction is fully completed, it will save.
If the SQL server is shut down
Restarted
or
also. Yes,
restart,
yes. It will
it
store.
will save.
Yeah,
Okay.
it will be there.
Once it is committed means whatever be the whether it is restart or shut down, at the back end it will store.
Committed means the transaction won't be there in the log file, it will be deleted. If the transaction is fully completed, the transaction either it should be there in the log file or data file. If it is permanently saved in the data file, the same transaction will be deleted from the log file. That is called truncate. It will be truncated from the log file.
That means once it moves from log file, the transaction records will be automatically truncated.
Correct.
Sir, here checkpoint will act like auto save for every 60 seconds.
Right. That's it. Control S.
Sir, we are saying commit, but when you execute a statement, automatically it will commit, or externally we need to commit.
There are two types of transactions in the document which I gave you. There are two types of transactions: implicit transaction, explicit transaction. Whenever you are writing a query, insert query, imagine you are writing insert into employee values. Okay, in the brackets you are giving something, sixth record, Samir. Imagine I'm entering Samir record. Okay, 50,000. So this is a kind of explicit transaction. Okay, So whenever you're running the transaction, actually there are two queries will be there, that is called begin tran and commit. By default, SQL Server will add these two parameters to each and every query. So these are auto completed. If you don't give begin tran and commit, the transaction is auto committed. Why? Because SQL Server will keep adding begin tran and commit. But if you start giving begin tran, it will wait until you give commit. If it is a 2 days, 3 days, 2 months, 2 years also, it will wait until you are going to give the commit. That is called explicit transaction. Explicit transaction you are giving explicitly. Implicit transaction means automatically it will, SQL Server will add that two parameters, begin tran and commit. Okay, so commit means permanently saved. You are saying, hey, this transaction should be permanently saved. If you don't give commit, that is uncommitted transaction. Until you give commit, it will wait. Is it clear, guys?
It's quite clear.
Fine. Okay, so let's discuss other database roles, guys. We'll complete the database roles today, so that tomorrow we'll start the backups freshly. Right now, right. Okay. So, where is this DB role? Right. Let me. That's fine. Let me open new query window and st underscore db fixed server db fixed. What is that role, guys? Fixed role permission. Fixed role permission, and the other role is, after data db creator we have one more role called, not db creator, sorry, data reader. Okay, we have another role called data writer. Okay, data writer. So can anyone guess what kind of permissions will be there for